For the first 6 months after moving into the old brownstone, Claire was convinced she'd found her dream apartment. The rent was surprisingly affordable, the location was perfect, and the creaky charm of the building only added to its allure. She lived alone, relishing the solitude after years of noisy roommates. But then the little things started happening. It began innocuously enough. A mug she'd left in the sink was mysteriously clean and back in the cupboard. She chalked it up to her own forgetfulness. Then, books she distinctly remembered leaving on the coffee table would be tucked back onto the shelf. Claire laughed it off as her imagination playing tricks on her. Living alone is turning me into a scatterbrain, she told herself. One evening, after a long day at work, Claire decided to unwind with a glass of wine and her favorite TV show. She grabbed a bottle from the kitchen and reached for the corkscrew only to find it missing from its usual drawer. Frustrated, she rummaged through every drawer and cabinet, but it was nowhere to be found. Giving up, she grabbed a different bottle with a screw cap and settled onto the couch. The next morning, the corkscrew was back in the drawer. She stared at it, unease creeping up her spine. By the end of the week, Claire could no longer ignore the strange occurrences. Lights she was sure she'd turned off would be on when she came home. Her phone charger had been unplugged from the wall. A faint, unfamiliar scent lingered in the air, like lavender soap. One night, she woke abruptly at 3:00 a.m. to the faint sound of humming. Groggy and disoriented, she strained to listen, but the sound stopped as suddenly as it had started. She lay in bed, heart pounding, clutching the covers like a lifeline. The next day, she decided she needed answers. Claire set up a cheap motion-detecting camera in the living room, pointing it toward the kitchen. She felt silly, like she was overreacting, but the unease wouldn't let her rest. When she reviewed the footage the following evening, her hands trembled. The video showed the kitchen lights flickering on at midnight. Moments later, the faint silhouette of a figure moved past the camera. It wasn't clear enough to make out details, but it was unmistakably human. Claire's first instinct was to call the police, but she hesitated. What if they didn't believe her? What if she was wrong? She decided to confront the situation herself. That night, armed with a baseball bat, she stayed awake, waiting for the figure to appear. At exactly midnight, the humming started again, faint but distinct. Claire's palms grew sweaty as she crept toward the living room. The humming grew louder as she approached the kitchen. She rounded the corner and froze. A young woman was standing by the sink, washing dishes. She turned slowly, her expression as startled as Claire's. "Who are you?" Claire demanded, gripping the bat tightly. The woman's face softened into an apologetic smile. "I'm S.